I just ended it because I was streaming, and it's got this option to pull up what they call a local video. But in the process of me playing like a video I made yesterday, a 20-second video, I went over, I dropped out of Restream for a second, like I left it open, but I went into the YouTube app. I went into the live stream to see what it looked like, and you couldn't see the image. You couldn't see the image of the video. You could hear the nature and everything from where I was videotaping yesterday. But then, so I ended the stream, and before I came back on just now, I went and looked at the short stream I did yesterday, and in the first 5 minutes or so of the stream, I did play like a small segment of me playing the drums on video I do have uploaded, and then another video of me walking around, which I have put into shorts. But those come from a different section. So today I was using a thing called local video, and I think I might have had something off where you could hear the sound, but you couldn't see the video. So anyway, not a big deal. Let me see what's going on here. Okay. So if anybody I'm believing that what I see right now is I believe I'm seeing myself register as a viewer right now because I just dropped out for a second again. I went into my YouTube app. That's the only frustrating thing, you working with the mobile on the phone. Doing it on the phone is I can't just open up another window and have, hopefully all that will get sorted out in the next few months. I've got certain things I've got to be working on for my own personal life. Like, let me see here. Put this on a stand. And let's see. I probably should go in and delete. YouTube so it won't matter. So give me a second. I'm going to share this to X. So it looks like for a second I might have dropped. You might have lost an image. As I was saying earlier, one of the only things that's kind of frustrating with using, like, I've been able to stream pretty well with just using the mobile, and Restream works pretty good with the phone. I'm kind of weird. Like, I feel like I keep holding my head a certain way. Well, that part of this is the stand ain't completely straight either. I just straightened it out. The other day when I was streaming, I was kind of like thinking the same thing. I was like, well, this my beard is kind of going a like certain way. Not that it matters, but Great Cloud, why are you worrying about it? Why are you worrying about what you look like? Okay. Oh, I uh, I think I'm better prepared this morning for whatever. Yesterday afternoon, like when I came home from church and all that, and decided to stream was just a little. I didn't know when I started whether I didn't know how long I was going to stream, didn't know how it was going to go, and I never know that. So it's kind of like I'm still just learning. Uh, there's probably no specific art to it. It's you just either have charisma and you kind of interact with people pretty well, or you don't. Some people do different types of streams. Some streams are just the camera is on something and you're just seeing some kind of like visual, maybe not even really a lot of interaction. For me, I think I was talking to someone yesterday afternoon. The whole point of me even doing a live stream, like I think I was discussing, like, because the other day when Squillbilly was in the chat, and like I was learning about people that do, like if they have a stream that's going 24/7, whether they're in front of the camera or not or whatever. And like I was trying to debate on whether, like, if I did something like that, what would it would be and why and all that kind of thing. Like I could see the potential that if you had built up an audience and you have a lot of people that are interested in watching at any time of the day, whether there's anything exciting going on or not. Like, like I learned something. Like it could be that you just keep your stream open so your audience is able to come anytime and be in the chat at any time of the day. You might go there at 2 or 3 in the morning and find a bunch of different type of people that are there at that time than you do at 12 lunchtime, in the middle of the day. There might be a whole nother set of people. So, and I imagine if you had your stream monetized, then just having it run all the time also probably increases how much watch time and all that. So, but I don't know anything about that because I'm not monetized. Good morning, buddy. Good morning. I'm not monetized, and so I wouldn't know unless I was in a situation where I'd streamed it long enough to make it a monetary thing. And like I've said before, that's not why I'm even into doing any of this really. If we ever got to the point where either one of my channels generated some type of, like if I had some sort of somewhat of an income that I knew came in every month, even if it was just like, even if it was just $50 that I knew I was making off of just whatever, like have that $50 go into like a certain thing for so many months, like if you knew you were making a certain amount, even if it's just like the bare minimum, just have that little bit go into some other, like just create an account just for that and let it build up. And then be like, when you get a few $100s, then that'd be like, you could have goals. Like I could have goals where like, okay, I get this, once I get to this certain amount, I'll take this much, and then I'll take something out of my paycheck that month and put with it. And okay, now I got a computer, boom. Okay, now I've got a microphone, or now I've got, whatever it is that's needed. And then like eventually it would be nice to like design. I've always wanted to design a couple of shirts or something, like some kind of a little cartoon character or something, a saying. I've always envisioned doing a shirt for the channel that might say ditto, and then it says equal, and then it'd say I love you. And then if you're wearing the shirt, you would probably know why we say ditto, and you know the explanation. And then I also kind of wondered, if I did that shirt, would I do a front and a back on it? Like, would I have somewhere on there that might be in memory of Sarah? And so that would be an option too. Like you do a shirt, says ditto equals I love you, or I love you guys. But then somewhere have like some kind of note either on the back or at the bottom in memory of, and And then like anybody that buys that shirt would obviously be somebody that's watched the channel long enough to know that I end all the videos with ditto, and that ditto means I love you. And it's in memory of Sarah Boylan, who passed in 2018 of a drug overdose. Very dear friend to me. You know, we were lovers at one point. We were just, but before being in a romantic relationship, we were first and foremost friends. So when we went into that, we also had an understanding that we were going to remain friends, and we were still the best of friends. She was going to come back to North Carolina and be with me back in that year. And like, you know, she had been off, she had not done anything in so many weeks. Like, I think she had claimed she had not done any dope or any, you know, smacking since she had said it'd been like 6 weeks or 2 months. It had been the last time she had done anything. She was supposed to have been doing good, but a week before she was going to come to North Carolina, where I lived, she went out to have a good time with her friends. They went out drinking, and I'm imagining when they drank, at some point their inhibitions were released. They were like, hey, let's get a little bit of this, the shit we really like. And then, you know, that's the rest of the story. The next day, she wasn't awake. She didn't wake up. So, enough of that. But I think you know, like, if you were here a minute ago, Amelia, I had started, and then I was trying to play a video, and I went into the YouTube app to look at how it might look. Because I had the question in my mind, because I hadn't been looking at the live streams the past few days. And some of the live streams at the beginning, I've been playing little snippets, you know, like something that I already have uploaded into the restream. Like the one of me playing the drums and singing. And then yesterday I uploaded and did one from the other day when I was walking, which I turned into a short with music. But I'm trying to experiment with, if I'm using Restream, you know, there are things that I have yet to even really experiment with. And I imagine once I do get a computer, and have Wi-Fi. Now, even once I get a computer, if I don't have Wi-Fi, I do have a hotspot. But like, once I get a computer, at some point within a month or so of having a computer on hand, then the next thing would be to definitely try to get a good internet connection. Although there's other things that are more priority that I should take care of. But one of those things involves me having that ID that we talked about the other day. So, and today I think I'm going to just kind of roll with this. I did share this. I shared it to X. Now, I didn't share any link for anybody to join. But the way I'm figuring is, if I stay on here long enough, and then let's say if Ghosty happens to get up and get on X and see that I posted that I'm live, she might show up in the chat. If she's there and she's like, and I'm still, if everything's flowing, if someone shows up in the chat I know and they're interested, then we'll make a connection. I'll try to figure out a way to do it privately. Send them a link and they can come on. Because I'm with you, man. Like, I have talked about doing, there's somebody coming up the road on a tractor. I believe that's the one person that lives down there's a side road I walk down a lot. And him and it's a father and son, and the father lives down the road. The son lives over across the main road down like, if you just take this road out in front of me all the way across the main road, he lives that way. If you go out here and then take the first left down that road is the father. But they own some land around here, cattle and shit like that. So, you know, if anybody's just tuning in, it looked like maybe we had another, and I'm trying not to pay attention to that, but of course it's right in front of me. So I do see when someone else is trying to view. And sometimes it'll, you know, like if you've watched me long enough, it used to aggravate me because I would pay attention to it. Sometimes it'll go, you know, you're like, there's 2 or 3 people watching. Then all of a sudden it drops to 0. And then there's 5, and then there's 1, and then so over the past year that I've streamed, I learned whether I'm through the YouTube app or even using Restream or StreamYard, you can't really pay attention to that because there's been times 2 or 3 people have actually been talking in the chat, but the number go down. You know, like there'll be actually someone saying something in the chat. I see 2 or 3 people, and then all of a sudden it drops to 0, but I see that they're still there. They're still there. Yeah, I think so. I think if I want a consistent viewership on live streams, probably at some point trying to pin down a regular time that you might know I'm there. I kind of want to, at some point, have a mixture of that. Like I would like at least, but before I started this live, I almost streamed it to my second channel also. But I'm kind of holding off because, Emil, I know I think you're subscribed to Gray Cloud's Thoughts. And you know, that's where I want to make it more of the stuff that's fun. Of course, on Gray Cloud's Thoughts, when I first started it, the idea was that sometimes I'd do videos and maybe give my opinion about certain things, which I have months and months ago talked about what I thought about Elon Musk. I was like, I think he's good, but also you need to be he needs to be, you don't need to think that he's like, I think he's good in some ways, but there's some things that need to be suspicious of. The same with just about any public figure, but I don't do that much over there that way anymore. Like basically, I'm kind of just trying to. I think with the second channel, I'm going to try to just make it more of like I do, little shorts showing off my comic books, and then at some point I'll do some longer videos where maybe I'll like flip through the comic books, show more of them off, talk about them more. And the idea is now that we're over 100 subscribers over there, hopefully sometime soon I can arrange to have a couple of people actually want to come on with me, like not just shooting it out there in the ether. You know what I mean? Like if I could talk to someone between now and next week, like and pin down like maybe a day, like say, hey, Self-Destruct or Ben, would y'all stream with me next week on Friday or Saturday, or just, you know, pick a day, or like this coming weekend, like if someone thinks they could have an hour or two to just do like an official stream on the second channel and it be mainly us just talking about fun shit and not like maybe deep, like not getting too far off into any deep conversation. Of course that could happen because it is Gray Cloud, but and I said that the other day, but meaning if I'm going to set up a Gray Cloud Thoughts stream for the first time as an official, I'd like to have it start off at least with, I've got comic books sitting here. I have 1 or 2 people that are going to be on with me that are in the comic book community. And that's what our intentions are. So that's why I opted not to stream this over to my second channel, because I didn't really think I'd end up talking about comics right now and stuff. Plus, it might confuse people. Yeah, that's why, you know, when we were talking yesterday and I said that the whole strike thing that we talked about, and I was saying, yeah, that was just a misunderstanding on my part. Like the way that I posted something or made it, I could see where it could easily have been. There was no disclaimer. I wasn't trying to promote it, but it could have been. So I didn't fight it. I just went with it. The strike's gone now. You know, I didn't get any more trouble or whatever. But yeah, but that was the whole reasoning during that time and that week, because it was just like I was just limited where I couldn't upload for a week. And then after that, I think it was another week before I could live stream again. And then it was like, I don't know, like it took a little bit more to reach people. Like after about a month or so, I started being able to reach people again. Like the algorithm started working well again. So, but yeah, I created the second channel mainly for that reason. I had that idea before that I need a second channel. Now, I don't know, because from what I did the research, is even though they're both connected through the same email, if this channel gets struck enough and I have to take a hiatus, I can go over to that channel and do stuff over there as long as I watch what I'm doing. Now, there is a thing that if you get completely taken down and then you go create a new account under a new email and then start a new channel and they find out, that can be like, that can get somebody in trouble, but there's plenty of people that have second channels, even third channels. Like I know some people that have some small channels, but they also have like 3 or 4 other channels on the back burner. And that makes sense, especially if they talk about, I think I'd be probably more worried about it if I talked about some of the things that we could talk about, Yeah, like I could have sent this over to the second channel. It's just for some reason, I had it set up right before I went live. I hit Gray Clouds Thoughts and Gray Cloudy Day. But in the very last minute, I was like, no, it's just not right yet. Like, I'm kind of just gauging it. Like, I want to do a Gray Cloud. It stands to reason, like, I kind of just want to do a Gray Clouds Thoughts stream, but also it needs to come over to the main channel too, just because I'm thinking when I do the stream, like an official stream on Gray Clouds Thoughts, that'll be the main stream that's going on, and it'll be streaming straight to Gray Clouds Thoughts. The second stream, it'll be secondary to this channel. So my hope is to maybe gain a few subscribers when we launch a official stream. Like some people might come in through Gray Cloudy Day, not even realizing that I had a second channel. But when they pop into the chat or something, I can be like, yeah, man, go over and check out if you haven't already, subscribe to the second channel. And but like I said, I want to try to arrange it where like the day I do it officially, I've gave like 24 hours in advance. Hopefully, like I set it up, everybody knows a day ahead of time. Hey, Gray Clouds Thoughts is going to have its first real stream, and it's going to be semi about comic books or whatever. And then I might possibly have somebody already lined up to be on there. So that's the thought, anyway. I just, for some reason, decided not to today because I titled this stream Reflection. And that just sounded more like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's all new to me. So even just doing a second channel is like kind of weird. Because sometimes I feel like I'm neglecting it. But the main channel is the one that's still growing the most, and it's the one that I've been doing the longest. So it makes sense that I'm going to tend to Gray Cloudy Day a lot more. Because I figured once Gray Clouds Thoughts gets to a certain level, at some point I will have done things over there a certain way long enough that I'll have a pattern down. Like I'll kind of have a distinguished way that I do things through the week for the second channel opposed to the way that I do it for this channel. It's just nothing's been streamlined yet. So I don't have like a set, you know what I mean? I'm still kind of jumbled. Because sometimes I get caught up during the week of making like a lot of shorts or doing the videos and live streams for the main channel. And before I know it, a week has gone by and I'm like, oh man, I didn't do anything for the second channel. So I have to like catch myself and go, well, you at least need to make a short or you need to do this. I feel like I'm talking kind of boring right now. I'm kind of like trying to think of where we could steer this into some other, area. I'm glad you tuned in though. Like it's like I'm liable to, like, I seem to have, it's been a while since I've done any streams in the evenings though. Like, you know what I mean? Like most of my streams here lately have either been somewhat in the morning or sometimes in the morning, and then one a little later. But generally it seems like my consistency is somewhere any time between a certain time in the morning and a certain time in the afternoon. It seems like it's where I fall. Now, when I've went on, there's been a couple of times in the past few months I've went on to somebody else's stream that was doing something that evening. And matter of fact, one of them was that Johnny Scab stream, and then we ended up his stream was having trouble. So then afterwards, we ended up doing a stream on my channel that night and streamed for a couple hours. But that was kind of unintentional. It wasn't really like anything I had planned. Like with my sleeping schedule the way it is right now, like doing evening streams is not plausible just because I've been like even yesterday, I stayed up for a while, like watching somebody, but towards the end of their stream, like it was still just 8:30 or so. But I remember not long after that stream ended and I turned off that stream, it wasn't that long afterwards that I dozed out and went to sleep, because I remember waking up a little while later and it being 10 o'clock and I was like, dang, I fell asleep. Where the night before I'd stayed up a little longer. Like the night before I'd stayed up and watched Ben for a long time, you know, like Ben and them streamed for a while that night. But even when they ended, it was still like pretty early, like as far as to what some people's hours are. I never know when my sleep cycle is going to change again. Like, I'm kind of overdue for probably a switch up. Like my sleep cycles will go from where I'm going down pretty early, getting like anywhere from 5 to 8 hours of sleep, and relatively anytime. Like right now, I'm going through a pattern where anytime I wake up in the middle of the night, it's not that hard to go back to sleep. But then it'll shift where there'll be times where I'll be up to 2, 3, 4 in the morning. I'll be falling asleep right before it's daylight. Then I'm still back up at 7 or 8 o'clock, you know, where I've only slept an hour or two. And that's usually, I tell them that I kind of attribute that to maybe more when I might be in a manic state, you know, like kind of a bipolar, like maybe too many racing thoughts or just a lot of things going on. And it's not always that. Sometimes it's just the energy level is better, you know. And speaking of my friend that I mentioned to you yesterday, I did hear back from her this morning. I texted this morning and said, I just wanted to make sure. I was like, I'm praying and I hope that you're not, you know, I basically said, I hope it's not that you're sick, or it's basically, I hope it's not her health. And I did get a response basically just saying, like, because I'd said ditto. She said ditto. And thanks for keeping me in prayers and stuff. So whatever the situation is, whether it's mental, physical, or whatever, she is still breathing. So that was a plus. I was very happy about that. I can say I'm grateful to know, hey, my friend is still with me. And apparently, from what I can tell, it's not something like she's in the hospital or something. So that's pretty cool. I think that's a plus, you know. When I started this stream, I had just came back from a walk, so I just took my arm out of my sling, and I just thought, man, you know, like before I went for a walk, I was trying to make a video, and I had decided I was going to read the Jesus Calling for today in the video. I don't think I'm going to title it Jesus Calling, but I may read the Jesus Calling reading in the video that I make today. So I was making a video and I was explaining why I was doing it that way. And then after I read, I ended up going to this long kind of like like I wasn't ranting, but I ended up talking way longer than I wanted. And I started talking about yesterday, the short live stream, and how like something threw me off, and I blah, 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 blah. And when I got to towards the end of it, it was like 10 minutes long. I was like, this is stupid. So I just deleted it, went for my walk. And when I get around to making a video to upload this morning or early afternoon, once I make it and decide to upload it, I decided that I'm not gonna like address all that kind of like if I read from Jesus Calling, I'm gonna start off and I'm gonna talk about a little bit about the day and how I'm having it, explain why I'm gonna read it, and then maybe give a little commentary and end it that on that. I'm not gonna like touch base on, well, I had a live stream yesterday and I felt a little weird and all this other shit. You know, it's like I was like, man, there's no reason to go into all that because it wasn't there was no big deal that happened. There is always a potential, you know what I mean? Like something could have happened if I had went a certain way with it and I didn't. Yeah, my head feels like it's lopsided. Like when I'm looking at the camera, of course, I have this big growth on my gland here. Yeah, I'm glad my friend ended up getting back to me too. And like I said, like I figured yesterday, it's probably some, you know, it's probably it could be a combination of things. Like I think a lot of people are going through. I know that there's several people I've communicated with in the past week or so that are just going through some similar type of things where it's like maybe not one particular thing, but just like, you know, maybe a little bit of the blues combined with maybe there's a couple of life choices you're needing to make and you're not sure which way you want to choose to go or whatever. And I just feel fortunate that I've personally been not in that type of space here lately. So what I'm trying to do is be there for anybody that may need some kind of stability or some kind of insight, you know? Oh yeah, yeah. Speaking of which, I gotta talk to Betty today. And I'm glad when we were talking yesterday, remember I said I realized that I can't with the appointment, the time that it's set, my doctor appointment set at 1 tomorrow, it cancels out me being able to use like for instance, if something comes up and if Betty was to tell me today that she couldn't take me, or tomorrow morning she's like, man, I'm not able to do it. Well, even if tomorrow morning would still be too soon, but because the appointment's at 1 o'clock, that hampers the ability to, like the public transportation. I didn't talk about it on the video or anything, but I talked to you about it, about the way that this particular public transportation in this county and all that is because of where I'm at and how far out I am, the way that there's a certain route they take and there's certain people they pick up. Like I'm usually one of the first people to pick up. Then on our way to the town where the appointments are and that school for the mentally challenged and stuff is. So we pick up a certain amount of people and then drop them off, and then you drop me up. You know, it's a big ordeal. And then there's a certain time that everybody's being picked up, and then the lady's on her way back up the mountain to come up here. So I remember talking about that yesterday, but I realized the other day I wouldn't be able to use the service unless, like, if I'm using the public service, I have to make sure the appointments are like, you know, in the morning. Which is usually what I do. But when I was calling last week, after having to cancel, I was just trying to get whatever they could fit me in there. And they like, she was like, well, the soonest I can get you in is on this day and it's at 1 o'clock. So I just kind of took it. I just went with it. The way things are going right now, like, I don't know how it's going to go. Like Betty is already gone somewhere this morning, and I don't know if that is I don't know if she's going to be gone. Like, you know what I mean? I don't know till I go over to my neighbors and talk to her brother or them. She might pull back in here in a little bit. She might just be gone, took someone somewhere, or there might be something like yesterday. She was gone all day. Somebody wanted her to ride with her to take somebody home that was in another state and all this other stuff. So she was gone pretty much all day yesterday. But yeah, at some point I have to touch base with and see if tomorrow's still looking like because I do have enough time that if I was to find out early enough today, I might be able to still figure out something Now, David probably wouldn't be able to do it, but I could probably call David, and then he might know somebody else from church that I might be able to, if I have to do that. For me, I'm not going to stress it so much at the moment, just because if I don't make it, I'm sure I can get another appointment, and I'm sure it'll be a pain in the ass doing that and having to go through that whole ordeal again. But over the past few weeks, the arm is slowly getting better. Now, like I said yesterday, I do want it looked at. I want it to be looked at, addressed, and it might just turn out that I just am told that I have to continue on doing what I'm doing. Try not to use it a lot, use the sling when I think it's necessary, and a lot of rest. Some things, that's just the way it is. There's some injuries where there's not a whole lot they can do. They just are like, you just kind of have to, let it do its thing. But I'm thinking that once we look in there, there might be an actual, there might be something they see where there is some correction that can be made, whether that's through surgery or some kind of therapy or whatever. Feel like I just babbled on. And, welcome anybody that's here. Feel free to speak up in the chat if you do want to. This stream, I put reflection because, Gray Cloud has been in a very reflective headspace here lately. Matter of fact, even though I'm probably going to read it in the video, I don't know who's here and who ain't. I know that Emil is here, but if not that anybody's interested, but I'm just going to do it. I'm going to read what I'm planning to maybe read in the video. But for July 28th, the Jesus Calling was pretty interesting, though. Let my love seep into the inner recesses of your being. Do not close off any part of yourself from me. I know you inside and out. Do not try to present a cleaned up self to me. That was the line that stood out to me, and that's why I wanted to read it, even though I haven't been like necessarily getting up and reading from any particular source every day. It's like I'm kind of just going with what feels right. And this morning, I read it to myself, and I was like, I'm going to read this to people, But that one part, I know you inside and out, and so do not try to present a cleaned up self to me. Like, come as you are, come broken, come down and out, downtrodden, however it is, just come in that fashion. Like, dirty, clean, whatever. Just show up, I think. That's like kind of the message I'm feeling. But wounds that shut away from the light of my love will fester and become wormy. Secret sins that you hide from me can split off and develop lives of their own, controlling you without your realizing it. Open yourself fully to my transforming presence. Let my brilliant love light search out and destroy hidden fears. This process requires time alone with me as my love soaks into your innermost being. Enjoy my perfect love, which expels every trace of fear. Anyway, whether I end up recording that and doing that on a video or not, I just thought I might want to read it right here since I'm talking about it. And hey, dude, what's up? Adam Butler Stratton. Hello, man. Thanks for speaking up and saying hi. Hope that, actually, I'm not going to say that. I was going to say, I hope I ain't boring you in here. Gray Cloud has to learn that Gray Cloud just be Gray Cloud. Like, I just need to be me. I just need, I figure if I'm talking about something at all that, I figure if I touch on anything that someone's not interested in, they'll, I figure if somebody's like wants to talk about something else, they'll bring it up. But a lot of times I find that whatever I'm talking about is usually on point and people are relating to it or whatever. So it's best that I don't even like kind of address it. You know what I mean? Like I shouldn't put a lot of thought into it. And if anybody, like if you're someone that's watched the channel at any given time, whether through a video or if you ever caught a live of mine, then you would have seen that I sometimes talk about all kinds of different things. Would you say I'm definitely a broken, but love your brain? Oh yeah, like broke. Yeah. Are you referring to like when I read that line? When I was reading this and in that line, uh, I was saying for me, I feel like it's saying just come as you are. Like I know you inside and out, so don't try to present a cleaned up self to me. Like just be yourself. Like, and I feel like that's what I'm being told right now. It's like not from anybody here, but like the presence. It's like just let it flow, Gray Cloud. Just flow. Just let it flow. Um, that's what I'm enjoying about doing live streams. Is it is in a live stream we're really getting more of the moment. You're catching like a more. Of course, I could be, but I'm never really trying to put on any kind of act. I'm just getting on here and just talking and being a real, just like sharing my life. Yeah, I think I think a lot of us are. Um, I think sometimes I'll speak for myself. I think sometimes I'm cautious of sharing. It doesn't seem like it because I've shared a whole lot of different things in different videos and on live streams, and I'm pretty much an open book. But sometimes I still get self conscious of thinking I've went overboard or I'm taking it too far. But I think that's just the ego part sometimes. Yeah. Um, of course, I have mentioned this that uh, I would like at some point to have uh, at some point in the future I could see myself sitting at least let's say one day a week where I know this is the type of stream I'm going to do, like whatever day that is, and then on that given day I'm going to stream for an hour or two or whatever, and probably bring up said topic, whether that be me streaming on the second channel and I have a guest and we're going to be talking about comic books, or I stream on this channel and I intentionally know that I'm going to start off, kind of with an idea of what I'm going to do. But for the most part, most streams, the way I've just done it over the past year since I started, is exactly like you're saying. Hey, Devil Flyer. Hey, I appreciate you showing up for a minute. I No, it tickles me. It tickles me that you showed up. Sometimes, dude, I don't know if you know it, but there's times I'm watching you and I just don't say anything. And that's not because I'm not wanting to be part of a conversation. It's just sometimes when you're like every day I see when you go live, sometimes I just tune in for like however long I can. And it's like, if I'm not going to be able to sit there for too long, I just don't ever say anything. And I don't mean to, I don't want you to think that I'm like trying to ignore you or anything. Yeah, like having a direction with no script. So basically, at some point, and like I said, at some point, I would like to get to where I have at least one day out of the week, or maybe it's every 2 weeks or something. I know that, hey, I'm going to do a stream and I'm going to plan to stream for more than an hour. It might go into 2, 3, whatever. And I'm going to have somebody on. I'm going to ask people ahead of time and have sort of an idea. Like I said, whether that be specifically someone's coming on and we're going to talk about comics and we'll do it on the second channel, or somebody's going to come on and we're going to start off talking about, whatever. But most of the time, it's just kind of like we're just winging it. Yeah, that Devil Fire, I know. It's like a lot of times you just get, because I sometimes tune in. Sometimes I get feeling weird, like knowing that you're here right this minute. And I know I don't have to. Sometimes when someone comes into the chat that I know from the comic book community, it automatically makes me want to pick up one of my comic books and start leading into something that, maybe that person would be interested in. But I've watched you enough, Devil Fire, to also see that you're well-rounded also, it seems like. Like you have a broad, like you're not just like your channel is mainly devoted to comics, but that's not all you are. Like you're not just comic books. Like I've seen you talk about a lot of different things, like life in general. Sometimes you're talking about just funny stuff. Sometimes it's some serious stuff, whatever. So, uh, yeah, if anybody doesn't know, Devil Flyer, he he's a comic. He's got a. I'm bad about like I don't have a computer, so I can't go in and pull up any links to share for him right now. But if you wanted, you could find his channel. He does a stream every day where a lot of times they're talking about comic books and stuff, but he is a comic book creator. I'm just letting anybody know that would be interested. Um, so he has a project right now called Devil Flyer, and you can go find that, I believe, on Fund My Comic. Now, tell me if I'm wrong, Devil Flyer. And Devil Flyer, if I keep calling you Devil Flyer, if you want me to call you something else, let me know. Sometimes I forget people's names. No, I know that, Emil. I know that you can't always interact. But I'm trying to just let anybody know. And I don't know if he's still here or not. But when somebody shows up in my chat, especially someone that does have a channel and I'm subscribed to their channel, whether I'm able to watch them all the time, if they're in the chat, then I'm going to tell anybody else that's in the chat, hey, you might not be interested, but I think that's just being a good person, a cordial, like that's the way you do it. Like I want my friends to do good too, you know what I'm saying? So like if there's one or two people here watching and somebody like Devil Flowers comes in for a few minutes and I can remember to say, hey, if you have a chance and you can, go check out that channel. If you like it, subscribe, Like I said, once I have if I had a computer set up right now, then I could go in, copy a link, I could post it in the chat and all that. I don't see that that's real necessary right now, probably. But very, very good guy, well spoken. Like I said, and of course, a lot of the conversations there are going to be about comic books, but they talk. His streams are ad lib, and he just kind of it'll start. You can end up finding a conversation about a lot of different things, not just one subject all the time either. But because I am into comic books and I'm into independent creators, and whether I can monetarily back everybody that I would like to, I try to support them by either subscribing, watching their live stream, sharing some of their sharing information about them or their campaigns and stuff. And because there's plenty of ways you can support somebody and not always be necessarily monetary. Like just hitting the like button sometimes is a lot. It means a lot to some people. Like even especially just like a small channel still trying to catch, trying to catch that little, momentum. You wouldn't believe how much just hitting the like on someone's video can actually help push the videos out for somebody. Like I realize that there's a certain amount of people that probably some people have seen me on other people's channels, like other comic book channels. And sometimes I'll be on there and like we'll talk about some of the drama and stuff and I'll share my opinions. But because I'm not an active creator in the scene of comics, I would like to be. I'd like to buckle down and get some stuff secured on paper, written wise, that I could maybe turn into some stuff. And I'm slowly but surely doing it. But it's like you also have life happen at times. Like there's everyday things that happen that keeps me from sometimes not necessarily focusing on some of the writing I would like to be doing. Let me read what you said here, Adam. Yeah, you're right. Very much so, Adam. I appreciate that insight. Um, and for some reason, Adam, you'll have to forgive me if I'm not recalling. For some reason, the name, okay, Adam Butler Stratton sounds familiar to me, but I can't necessarily say for until you tell me or not. I can't say for certain that I can't say that I certainly remember, but for some reason I'm pretty sure you have been in the chat a couple of times at least, haven't you? And if not, if you're complete, like, you know what I mean? Like, there's people that have been in chats, but it's been a long time. And if I don't see them, like, if you haven't commented on a video or anything, or I haven't seen you in a live stream in like if it's been a long time, then I might not necessarily, it might not be clicking up here for sure. Because there's sometimes some people come in and I'll recognize, I can tell I've had enough interaction where I definitely know. Then there's a time or two that I've had people come in and I'm pretty sure they've been there before, but I'm not, like, there've been times I've made a mistake, like thinking, oh, okay, I remember you. And then they're like, no, this is the first time I've ever fucking seen you. So like, there's a certain set of names that I remember, because I've seen them in comments or in the chat over the past year quite a bit, and so even if someone haven't said anything in a long time, I remember it. And I guess there's no reason to say I'm sorry or anything about, if I don't specifically remember someone right off the bat. But for some reason, you are sticking out as someone that I feel like I had some interaction with at some point. Okay, that's what I thought. Well, as soon as you said Australia, as soon as I read Australia, now I'm not saying like prior to that I didn't remember, but the name was very familiar. I knew we had interacted. And as soon as you said longtime subscriber Australia, that makes sense, because and you could tell me if I'm wrong, something is telling me that at some point when we did interact, whenever it was, probably in a live stream, it was said, you have stated that you were in Australia, if I remember correctly. But there's actually a few people that watch from Australia. Now, I don't remember their names right offhand, but there's like, I know there's at least a couple of more people that sometimes have been tuned in from Australia. So that's pretty cool. Glad to, it's really cool. Thanks. Hey, I'm happy this is going like it is. Oh, I guess my next question is, because I don't think I can look and see myself right now. Hold on, let me see. No, I can't. So the next question, see. Yeah, it's been a little while back or whatever. That's why sometimes I give, well, there was a few weeks I didn't even stream, like kind of went through, a little bit of a period where like I got out of practice, and then when I tried to start back into it, I was like nervous about it and shit. This past week, I've just kind of been trying to let things just let people go, just let things go. Okay, it's 11:50, so it's at nighttime for you right now. Yeah, right now for me, where I'm at in the United States, it's 8:50 in the morning. Because I realize it's weird that you bring that, because there's like used to a lot of my streams. There for a while, most of my streams I didn't usually start and decide to do a stream till sometime in the midday. Like it could be like 11, 12, 1, 2, 3 o'clock. And somewhere any between that time span, I would figure it out. But I also learned at one point, when I go live in the mornings, there's a whole nother set of people that like watch my channel that are in another part of the world. So when I go live early in the mornings, sometimes that's the best time for them because it's like it might be the evening for them or going into the night, but they're like off work or they have this free moment of time where they have, oh well, he's live, and like I'm not realizing sometimes the time difference. So that's pretty cool. But I was also saying, like yesterday, I had tried to do a stream, and I think there was just something off in general. I don't think it was like when I look back at yesterday, I don't. It wasn't so much that someone asked to come on the stream that maybe I didn't know. I just felt a conundrum, like you know what I mean? It's like I wouldn't mind at some point having an open panel of some sort, but then you still have to be really careful. Like I don't want to accidentally, but you never know. You could even know someone and have interacted with someone for a long time. And if someone has bad intentions, you could let them come on and they still do something that makes it where you have to restrict it or try to go back and take it down or whatever. So I figured I just went with whatever my gut said yesterday, just end it. Like I said, I was trying to do a video this morning and I was kind of explaining that there may be days that I'm able and want to deal with people trying to be funny. And then there might be days where it's not necessary. Boy, it's like I'm sweating like my I'm trying to be patient with oh, hold on. Okay, guys, I apologize. Something happened there where like somehow I disconnected for a second. Be honest with you, what happened was I scrolled down to look at notifications, and I just messed up again. What the heck is going on here? So I scrolled down to look at my notifications, and I was reading a comment. Somebody had commented on a post I made yesterday in the community. I was trying to read that comment, and now that I read it, I see that they're being kind of funny. Well, they're trying to be funny, and it's some of it's funny and some of it ain't, so it's no big deal. Ah, cool. So I see that you told Adam about an Australian streamer you like. I might have to. I appreciate that sentiment, Adam. I do appreciate that. I want to make it clear that if anything like that was to occur, where somebody does help me out again, and I say again because to be quite fair, a subscriber, they didn't spend money on it, but they had someone that was able to give them a computer last year. And yes, I did end up with it, but then I had a situation where I don't have, I didn't hold on to it very long. And that's just my own ignorance. I had a conversation about this the other day where the best way I could explain it to myself or accept what happened was, at the time, I wasn't in the right place in my life to have maintained it. Like, even if I had kept the computer, it would have probably been a long time before I learned how to really use it and put it to good use. I'm not saying that I didn't fumble the ball. My point is, if I ever get to the point whether it's just my own doing that I end up with something again, or somebody helps me, I want to make it clear, I'm not sitting here trying to beg anybody. I just want to make sure that if somebody does reach out to help me in any way, it will be appreciated, and I will not make any kind of same idiotic mistakes that I made in the sense of what happened last year. If that makes any sense. Like, anyway, I just think it's good to be like, I'm trying to be open and honest and say, yes. And matter of fact, the person I'm talking about that helped me out last year, they're my dear friend that, I was kind of concerned about yesterday because I had not heard from them since the day before. Then I messaged them yesterday, and then they said they weren't doing too good. And then I never heard from them yesterday, but I did get a message this morning, and I know they're still breathing, they're still alive, and they're very appreciative that I'm keeping them in my thoughts and prayers. So that's a good thing. It is somebody that's a member of the community. They have not been in a live stream chat in forever, but they do comment on my videos and stuff like that. And they're a longtime friend. They're not just a subscriber. They're not just somebody that, it's somebody I talk to fairly well, pretty much every day, at least through text. So, when there's people that I communicate fairly regularly with, if there's something going on, then I am going to be a little concerned for them, Yeah, we all have our ups and downs. Yeah, I'm just meaning, I have decided that I don't know how it's going to come about, but I can sense, if I just stay on course with the way that things are going at this moment, I do believe I think that I'd say that before the end of this year, I could possibly have what will make for better streaming. Hopefully, I can learn how to use the thing and not just for better streaming, but to also learn how to do maybe, like, I enjoy the way I do videos, but if I have a computer long enough to learn everything, of course, I do want to learn to make some videos where I put a little thought into it and like learn how to edit a little, you know what I'm saying? So that would be that's always been something I would be interested in. When you're just on a phone, like, I know there's a lot of people that do a lot of videos on phones and there's phone editors. It just seems to me like, if I'm really going to learn it and try to make some videos where I put a little more time into it, a computer is going to be probably the place where you're able to do the most with, as far as because I've always envisioned like doing videos the way that I normally do them, but then during the week at some point, maybe doing like throughout the week, I'm recording certain things that I'm not uploading, like little snippets, and then I'm sitting down and then combining some snippets. Like, say every day I walk and I record like 5 or 10 minutes of my walking and different stuff, but I'm not uploading it every day. And then I take a certain day of the week and I make one big compilation of a lot of snippets and, edit it together and make it like a streamlined video. That would be like fun stuff just to learn to do in general, I think. And, anything I can do to hopefully present my ideas in a better way too, that would be cool. But I appreciate even the thought that anybody would be interested in doing that. because I had thought about, I remember a few years ago, there's a subscriber, she's a friend also. Um, I call her the other mom, but it's Maureen or whatever. But she had said a few years ago that if I had like if I set up some kind of thing where like I'm saying, hey, I'm trying to raise this much money for a computer, she's like, I would donate. And I just don't want to like, I know that sometimes I put my Cash App and all that in there. And sometimes there's been times, it's been a few months since I've been down and out and really like reached out to anybody and asked for anything. But like when it comes to that, I could see that being a possibility. Like if I set it up where it's all transparent and then we reach a certain goal, like if I know, hey, if I can raise a couple $100, I'll take a couple $100 out of my fucking monthly check, put it with what I can get, and we'll go see what we can find, you know. And then I was also talking about once I do get a computer again, once I get it in hand, then my next step would have to be trying to get good Wi-Fi into the house. Because as far as everything I do on the channel right now is all from mobile data. I have unlimited data. It works really well. I've noticed that when I'm streaming, it seems to do pretty good. Like we don't hardly have any issues. I see people all the time that have actual PCs and actual hardline fucking internet into their house and shit. And sometimes they still just have like a multitude of trouble. But I guess some of that can be a combination of things. It could be like if your computer's bogged down, you haven't cleaned it in a while, you got too many windows open, whatever. There could be I'm imagining a number of factors that can interfere during streaming with stuff freezing up or whatever. But definitely a computer, some sort of laptop it would help once I learned how to use it again, you know, because like each computer is different. I only say laptop because it just seems more like plausible. I'd want something that's mobile, so where like I can take it with me, I can move around, I can, you know, but it's got all the functions I need. But I think with a computer, yeah, I think as far as having people on, like having someone wanting to come on as a guest, I think that would be a good. I think as far as managing when you have multiple people on screen, I think once I had a computer and had done that enough, it'd probably be easier to maneuver just because you have a bigger screen, you have more like, you know, plus you're using a mouse and all that kind of stuff. Like right now, everything if I do anything, I'm having to touch the screen with my fingers and all that. And it's kind of like, sometimes you can accidentally hit the wrong button and do things and not know what you're doing. You can do that with a computer, but I think once I get a computer again and learn it and start streaming with it, so hopefully we can do something soon. See, today's Monday. I'm going to try to do like an official stream for the second channel on Gray Cloud's Thoughts sometime between now and the weekend. Like and it'll be a comic book stream probably, like I said, like, and it might not be that long, but I'm going to like try to set it up and just, even if it's just me by myself, fuck it, you know. Just getting over 100 subs on the second channel, that's a reason alone to go live, you know. Like it could just be a stream that I just do to celebrate. Hey guys, appreciate that y'all, you know, we've got over 100 people now. And so I'm going to start trying to do more with the channel and something like that. And what I'm thinking what I might do with the second channel is I might set a day aside for each week. You know, like pick a day out of the week for each week for the second channel to specifically do a stream. And know that each week, like, but in between each day of that, like from that day to the next day of the week, that gives me a space of time to be like, okay, this is my comic book stream. And okay, well, did I get any new comments today? Hey, is there anybody that I talked to on X that's in the independent comic scene that wants to come on and promote something or wants to come on and just talk about shit? So that's kind of a possibility, just like getting something started over there and then just kind of like pick a day and be like, this would be a good day to do. Like, I'm going to try to set this as my day so that people might get familiar with, hey, like every Friday morning, he's doing a stream with his friends and they talk about pop culture and shit. Or every Saturday morning or every Saturday afternoon or whatever day it is. I don't want to put too much on my plate, I fly drones for a living. Technology is what I do, mate. I'll talk soon. Let me work something out. What phone do you have, if you don't mind sharing? I'm using a Motorola. It's an older model. I sent. What is it? Hold on a minute. If I know you're. I guess okay. Before you get out of here, like mine's a Motorola. Emil might remember if he's hearing this, because I sent somebody asked me the other day, and I had to look it up as far as specifics. It's is it a Motorola Play? So it's just like a $50 phone. So it's nothing spectacular. It's an Android, of course. And the service I use, like, it's a Motorola, but I use Verizon. I do a prepaid Verizon, total Verizon. Burning the sage right here. So I'm trying to see what it is you need specifically if you're asking. So it's a Motorola. Because when I shared this information, I shared the specific model number the other day. And so the version I have is an older version. So it's not the newest. It's not like a 2024 Motorola. I think it's a Play or Jeep, something like that. But it seems to work pretty well. It seems to be a pretty good phone. Most people like Self-Destruct, my friend Self-Destruct, when he streams with me, he's pretty surprised about he's surprised at how well the mic seems to work as far as for me just streaming straight from a phone. He's always saying that the mic works pretty well. So like they don't have much trouble with people hearing me or things being off. And if you're still there, Adam, I think Emil is going to maybe share the specifics. Because I'm imagining there's a reason that you're asking, because you said technology's your thing. So yeah, it is a G Play then, a Moto G Play. If he's still there, then maybe he sees that. And what did he say? Or get stoned and talk shit? So, mate, I'll talk soon. Let me work something out. What phone do you have, if you don't mind? And then, but he had said, what was it? He said, get stoned, talk shit. Yeah, like we can do that sometimes. I've had a couple of Samsung models, but I couldn't tell you exactly which Samsung model. You know what I'm saying? Like the past several phones I've bought have just been Motorola, and I guess because a lot of it has to do with I just got familiar with a certain model of phone, and when I do go to purchase another phone, usually I just kind of get whatever version of that phone is in that store at the time, Or if I order it offline, I'm usually going to get the most the newest version. But yeah, because I had a like one of the first good laptops I had was a Samsung laptop. That was years ago, but it was a decent laptop, you know. And then I've had several Samsung phones. Um, but I believe the main issue for me right now is probably um, just trying to focus on staying clear headed, staying, you know, on point as much as I can during my day. And then when it comes to doing the channel, like I'm just glad that I'm finding like kind of a new gusto, a new everything is kind of being is kind of feeling fresh again for me. So like doing videos has been it's been like it's been new again. This past week, any of the live streams have been kind of like fun. Like it's just been like it's been nice to have this new kind of boost of energy towards my creative side of things and stuff. You know, like I said yesterday, I actually wrote something I hadn't wrote in a while with my hand because my arm had been the way it's been. It's actually feeling pretty good right now. You know, like I said, I had it in the sling earlier and I went for a walk. And then I came home and I decided to do this stream. Okay, I just got a reminder for my doctor's appointment tomorrow. And hopefully that's all going to still, like it's still early. Like I said, I'm pretty sure Betty's still gone. Because when I went for a walk, I think her van was there. I went for a walk and on my way back, she was gone already. So as far as I know, I haven't noticed her come in since I've been here. And I've got my door open and stuff. And what's Dex mean? I don't know what Dex. A Samsung with Dex. Like, I don't know what Dex is, but I do agree Samsungs make good phones and just good equipment in general. So I had meant to ask, but I think Adam was working towards getting off of here. Like I think he might have, and plus it's late for him, I guess. I don't know what his hours are. That's interesting. Now I like when people come in and share from where they're at and stuff. And I do remember now having some sort of conversation with Adam a couple of times or whatever, and that it being brought up about Australia. Like as soon as he said Australia, something rang a bell there. But like that's like my one friend over in Wales or somewhere. When I finally really had like a conversation with him, he came on the channel after years of not talking, knowing what had happened. I like to find out what he did for a living and stuff was cool. Like he did movie props and stuff. You know, he makes like different costumes and weaponry type things to look realistic according to whatever time period, you know, a movie or whatever TV show might need. So that was an interesting encounter with somebody that I'd been communicating with for a while, but it had been a while since we had communicated, and I never really had known a whole lot about what they did personally, like on their as far as a job and stuff. So that was real nice. That was real fun to like learn. And so I'm trying to think. I wish there was a way, like, if I've been thinking about it. Let's see, because sometimes people can be coming in the chat and they might even have a channel. Like if Adam has a channel, like he has an account, but whether he has any videos or anything, I don't know for sure. And I like to try to check that out too. Like if someone comes in if I look at their account and it's actually an active channel, not just an account, I'll try to subscribe to them, to give them a little boost. Because, like there's a lot of people that have accounts and they don't do a channel, but like there's some people that sometimes will catch me and they have a channel. So like if they do and they have videos up, then I want to at least subscribe and try to support it to the best of my ability. This stream has been pretty good. Like, yes, it's just ended up being me. I shared the link over onto X. I didn't share like a link for anybody to come in. See, that's the thing. I've been thinking about, like, I don't know how long or how difficult it is. Part of me has been thinking about changing up my email. Of course, it's been the way it's been for so long, and it is like either email has like my legal name in it. But I can change that. I could go in and change my Gmail's name. It'd still be the same account. It just changed the name of it. I've thought about that just so that my legal name ain't up there. But I've never had an issue with saying my legal name from time to time I mention, it's just that nobody calls me that, and I don't really like to be called that. So that's the main reason I don't ever really address it, and there's no reason to. But when it comes to my email information, man, good morning, but good night. Yeah, Adam, I appreciate it. So I guess what I was saying is, because you're in Australia, but I do have, if you wanted to ever email me, you could email me. But like, I don't know how, like, either way, I still appreciate you just being here, and I appreciate the concern. And like somebody could email me through the Gmail, but usually when I tell somebody to email me, I send them to the Outlook, because that's where I receive actual personal emails. You know what I mean? Like, the Gmail gets so bombarded with spam, and like every day I have to go in and delete so much stuff that I don't even look at on Gmail. So it's easier if someone's trying to connect with me through Gmail and I don't know it, I'm liable to accidentally delete it. You know what I'm saying? But if somebody tells me, like if someone says, "Hey, if they tell me, like if they were to tell me in a comment, "Hey, I emailed you," then I'd be looking for it. But yeah, have a good night, dude. Have a good night. And also, I'll try to remember the time frame, because, like I said, I am learning that I enjoy doing these streams in the morning. It's just sometimes I'm just like not my mind frame ain't just right. But I'm learning that sometimes you just have to just hit live and go. That's what I did this morning. Got up, did a few things, went for the walk, came back, said, "Dude, I'm gonna do a live. I'm gonna just go with it." And maybe some people ain't that interested in hearing whatever the hell I have to say, but that's not the point. Sometimes what I'm trying to do is just connect with who does make it. Okay, let me share it real quick. So send me something like this one. Hold on. Hold on. Well, there wasn't ever any they weren't streams, they were just videos. And if you're asking what happened to me doing Jesus Calling videos, I just haven't been doing them. I'm reading. Of course, I have no problem addressing it. I had ordered this, Jesus Always, and intended on maybe starting this. But so far, every one that I've read, there's only been a couple when I read them in the mornings to Jesus Always that read well to me, and that it's not reading the same. So I have put on the back burner whether I am going to share Jesus Always as a everyday thing or not. With Jesus Calling, I have done the entire book. I started sometime last year, so I went through this entire devotional, and when I'm still sharing it, we're actually covering ground that I've covered before, but it's not because of that. Just to be honest, I've been going through my own personal questions. I've been doing my own intensive, like different studies in the mornings, and just kind of like something has led me to do videos differently in the morning to where I'm trying to process certain things before I do a recording. And it's led from, I'm still sometimes sharing Jesus Calling, but I'm not titling the video Jesus Calling. Like the other day, I shared from two different things. I shared I read from the Fifth Agreement, and then at the end of the video, I read from Jesus Calling. So I'm getting up and I'm like doing several different readings for myself. And then sometimes before I've even made a video, I went for a first walk of the day. I'm doing several different things differently. And so then when I'm sitting down to think about a video, I mean, I don't know how to answer it other than I'm just kind of like in a transition period of self-reflection, self-introspection. And so I had a lot of questions about myself even. I was talking to somebody about this yesterday, that I have to, from time to time, question myself on did I make, like I have to every so often question, is Gray Cloud just making some stuff up in his head, or is it real? You know, like, and during those periods of times of questioning, every time so far in 51 years, I've always gotten answers that verify for me that I'm still on the right track. So it's not because I don't, like, even if I'm not doing a video where I'm reading from the devotional, I am reading it to myself. Matter of fact, this morning, I did try to make a video, and I read Jesus Calling this morning into a video. But after I read it, I went into like about 6 minutes of like a tangent, and I realized I didn't want to upload it. So I deleted that video, and then I've started a live stream. So I haven't got a video up yet. Because Jesus Calling read well, like I like the reading this morning very much. And so I do intend to share today's reading in a video today. Now that I said that out loud, watch me end up not making a video. But if I don't, there'd be a reason. It wouldn't be just because I just blew it off. But I feel like I kind of rambled on and gave you a long answer. But there's nothing specific. Like I haven't said, well, I don't want to read, because like I said, I'm still reading it to myself. And I haven't read Jesus Always this morning, so I don't know what it read like today. But so far, man, I just haven't like felt the same. It almost feels like Jesus Always is just more contrived. Where Jesus Calling seems to have been something that just kind of happened and comes out organically. When I'm reading Jesus Always, it feels forced. And because of that, I'm uncomfortable. I just haven't felt comfortable yet diving deep into it. It doesn't mean I can't get something out of it, though. But I have already shared, too, that I'm reading several different things other than just devotionals or something. Like I said, I'm reading some, like Carl Jung, Undiscovered Self, Fifth Agreement, which I am sharing the Fifth Agreement. And then The Dark Night of the Soul, which I haven't read any of that this morning yet. I didn't get to it yesterday. I'm going to make myself read at least a few pages today and digest some of The Dark Night of the Soul today. Along with, I've already read some of Jung, but I'm going to read some more of that. And yesterday I didn't read any recreational stuff. What's it? Did I lose signal for a minute or something? I guess. What the heck happened? Okay, I don't know what's going on. It's acting as if the chat wasn't working or something. I don't know if we lost signal or if I've lost. I mean, the video's still running, the camera's still on, but somehow it was saying to activate my chat. So we might have lost signal for a second. It might have disconnected for a second. I really don't know. Okay, Adam. Hey, did you get that? So you seen the email? Okay, I'll be looking and see if you emailed me, and then I'll get back with you. We'll figure out what you know. Okay, signal and audio are good. It just there for a second. I was talking, and I looked down, and it for some reason it had this little black message with white letters, and it said to activate your chat. Restream must have just for a split second not been reading it. Let me put his I appreciate it, man. I think sometimes I'm not intentionally being funny, but I think you're right that sometimes I guess probably the way I view things and the way I word things comes out kind of amusing, and I'm having fun just like sharing my ideas and my thoughts. So I appreciate you. I appreciate everybody that watches and interacts with me. I appreciate anybody that watches the videos, and it it means a lot. Because like I've said time and time again, it's not like I'm monetized. I'm not on here trying to make money. If I made some money, I would try to, if I generated a certain amount where I knew it was coming in, like I said earlier, I would take and probably create an account where like, if I knew, let's say that at some point I was generating just $50 a month from doing something on YouTube. If I knew that there was a set $50 coming in, you could have that build up into an account, and over a period of months, it could be a few $100s that could go for equipment and things that needed to be done. Like I would just have it, try to channel it and not put it into my personal account, create an account, put it in there, have a goal for how much. That's how I would do it. That's how I did it when I played music. When we played music in bands, you would invest a certain amount of money into your creation. But then, like if you make a product and you sell it, you take most of that money that you made back and try to put it back into product and into equipment. If you're in a band, you try to buy better equipment. You try to improve your sound. If you're putting out CDs, you have more CDs made. The idea for me is to try to create something that self-generates itself, where at some point it might not be making you like a living, but it's paying for itself. Like at some point you're not investing a whole lot into it anymore other than your time and your creative thoughts and processes. Yeah, man. I appreciate you, Adam. I appreciate you. And once again, sometimes it's good if I haven't communicated with you in a while. I'll tell you this time that whenever I see your name the next time, I will definitely know who you are and remember specifically. It's just that sometimes there's a time span between one time when I'm communicating with someone that I've through the channel to another. If a certain space of time goes by, it's easy for me to like maybe not remember. Well, I appreciate that. I'm glad that something I say makes people laugh also. My mind is just wired usually in a deep fashion, but like it can be anywhere. That's why if someone was to come on, I don't know if you've caught any of my lives, Adam, when somebody has been on with me, but I really do enjoy when there's a good, when I have a good, when there's a person that comes on that can interact with me pretty well. It's nice to have someone that kind of reels you back in, even if they're not on screen. People in the chat sometimes can help me stay focused. Like I might be getting off track, and sometimes somebody in the chat can just help bring me back to wherever I need to be. So, okay, I was looking. There's a car turning into the trailer park, but yeah, I'm gonna probably wrap this one up here in just a minute because, uh, yeah, man. Like I said, I'll look for an email if you sent me one, and try to get back with you pretty much as quick as I can. Because like in an email, I can ask you a few questions or whatever, kind of find out like a little more. Plus, that's probably like if there was ever the possibility, like if you ever, I mean, I don't even know if you stream or not, but like if you did and you wanted to ever be on, now that if we haven't exchanged even just through an email, that would be the way that I would invite somebody on, or you know what I mean. If I have their direct connect, like whether through email or phone number, or even just on another social media where we can DM each other. Because I was mentioning earlier, at some point I had thought about doing. At one point, I thought about trying to have like a day every so often where I might do a stream and have the link in the channel in the chat, and like maybe some people that do subscribe that would just like to come on for a few minutes would come on. But since then, I've realized that could turn into a mess. Like it probably is best to try to. That's ADHD. Good night. You're like me sometimes. I have a hard time sometimes just calling it quits. Like right now, even like I said, I'm thinking about wrapping this up. I still haven't really kind of secured and said I'm going to yet. Okay. I see a text just came through. But yeah, I think I am going to wrap this one up for a minute. Because it's still pretty early. I'm thinking the best thing, like I was sitting here thinking, what am I going to do here in a minute if I end this stream? And all of a sudden it dawned on me, don't worry. Like, I'm not going to put a lot of thought into it. I'm just going to I'm going to stream for a few more minutes and then, actually, I don't anymore. And I just had never went back to try to create any more of that. I used to be on Instagram, and I had a pretty good following. I had a good number of people I actually interacted with, and had. But like whenever it was last year. My Instagram and Facebook both were hacked, and then somebody kind of like there was a few people that were friends with me through Instagram and Facebook that I don't know how many people actually might have believed it was me, but there was a couple of people that got hoodooed and like messaged, and they thought they were talking to me, and they sent some like. It's kind of frustrating because like I didn't know what to do at the time, and then by the time I figured out there was people you could communicate with and maybe could recover your account, by that point I just kind of like went on with it and just said fuck it. But so I never really went through trying to recover my account or create a new account. And I remember sometime after my shit was hacked, getting some kind of email from Instagram or Facebook saying that something had been done wrong in the community. Whoever had took over my account had posted some bullshit or something to make it. They were like, I guess, trying to take the account down or something, which didn't matter to me because it wasn't me no more. But there's ways around that. We'll figure it out. I'll get with you. I just hope that's the email. That's the email I gave out the other day. But somebody, if they sent it to the wrong thing because I still hadn't got anything from them. Or they might have thought, because the way I acted the other day, they might have thought that I was uncomfortable with them wanting to stream with me. And I've been talking. They've they've been someone that's followed my channel for a while. Not, I ain't talking about yesterday. I'm talking about the other day. Like Swillbilly has been in the chat plenty of times, and especially times when I've been showing off comic books and all kinds of cool stuff. And he's been there before and like really digging it. But I think I'm gonna try to wrap. I'm gonna wrap this one up. I appreciate you being here, Adam. If you emailed me, I'll email you back. If you emailed me, whenever it is, even if you just emailed me, expect me. If it's sometime today, then I should shoot you back an email sometime today. Now, of course, it'll be late at night for you, and whenever you get up is whenever you can answer or whatever. But I am on X. I know that some people don't like Twitter or X, whatever. That's the only platform. I'm on Gab also, but I only go over to Gab a little bit in the morning. I go to Gab, I post my videos into a couple of groups, and I look at their posts, re-like them, or I like them, reshare them. And it's like specific groups, like a spiritual group and then an art group and some other kind of group. Like I don't spend a lot of time on a main timeline on Gab because it's just a bunch of same old. But when I go to the specific groups, I post stuff and then I share stuff and I comment, come out, and that's about it. But it's nice to still know that I'm on Gab. I wish more people used Gab and it was more like you could reach more people with it. I would use it and utilize it more. But X is the main place. If you're going to find me outside of YouTube, you can go to X and find me there. Here lately, I've been limiting how much I'm on there during the day. Like I'll check in throughout the day, but it had got to a point where at some point, even with some of the other social media when I had it, I was spending too much throughout the day, like just checking every notification, every 30 minutes being on there and making posts or reposting, making comments, and then getting like I would spend like, even though I was doing stuff through the day, you know, it's easy to just keep checking it all through the day. And so I had to like start trying to make I'm trying to be like, if I'm not specifically doing a live stream or making videos and uploading videos, I'm trying to intentionally not be online too much. Like if I've made a video, then I'll go over to X and post, and then I'll scroll and interact for a little while, and then I'm done. You know, and it might be another couple of hours before I check back in. If I make a video and I upload it to YouTube, or if like after I stream now, there'll be a few hours that I'm going to try to fill with actual activities like reading or another walk, cooking or cleaning, doing things like that is what's going to probably go on for the next hour or two at least until I figure out, because I might have the energy later to do, who knows, like sometime after lunch or something, I might find myself feeling good enough to go, fuck it, I'm going to do another live stream. And so, but I never know until that moment, really. So I'm going to leave it at that. You guys have a good day, man. Good night. For Adam, he's probably already gone, but, and I will hit y'all guys up later. Matter of fact, it's still early and I haven't made a video, like an actual video. So I'm going to make a video sometime here in the next hour. Try to do a video, whether that be reading from Jesus Calling or me just sharing a couple of thoughts. We'll see what happens, but I'm going to upload a video here in a little bit. And then from there, kind of just see what else I need to do. Y'all have a good day. Until next time, great class.